So there's a rumor going around the town that divorce rates are going up, and like you probably got scared shitless or whatever. The whole Bill Gates and Melinda Gates after 27 years divorcing. So you probably think, wow, it's probably a whole trend of people breaking up and going crazy. And like, yeah, if you click the news surface level, you probably freak out and want to break up with your
Two of the richest men in the world
yeah
in the last couple of years. Yeah.
with your so a lot of the headlines were saying divorces are booming during the pandemic. Lawyers were saying this, mind you that divorce lawyers were saying that is a so that's
Of
kind
course,
of
they want it on your mind so that you'll hire them and they can
so
make some
keep
more
in mind
money.
who was saying divorce. Want you to repeat that in your head that who was saying divorces were booming. Divorce lawyers. So we're gonna click this video real quick.
We spoke to family law attorney.
The WeatherTech Cup phone can perform some amazing moves.
What does WeatherTech have to do with anything?
An optional
Holly Hefton, closer to when the pandemic first started, she says since then they've been working longer hours as more people have been inquiring about getting a divorce.
We're quite often having to tell people that we can't get to their paperwork for a couple of weeks.
Holly Hefton says November is normally a busy time of year for them as people try to get a divorce ahead of the holidays. So now they're dealing with the holiday rush and an increase in clients due to the pandemic.
So I know that there's a lot of financial problems out there that's putting stress on marriages, as well as just the stress of maybe being at home, working from home, being in close environments. I think overall it's just put a lot of stress on people, and that stress is affecting their relationships.
In fact, Hefton tells me they're getting twice the amount of calls they were this time last year, both for divorce and modifications in child support due to job loss or reduction in hours.
If you're ordered to pay child support and you don't pay it, of course, you're going to be subject to indirect contempt of court. The only thing that kind of gets you around that, if your failure to pay was not willingly.
But compared to years before, the number of uncontested divorce calls going up, meaning fewer court battles.
Because it means that parties, while they may be stuck at home the majority of the time, have been able to work out something that they believe is fair in regard to their children's custody, child support, division of assets and debts, things like that. And I would like to commend the people that can do that because it works best for everyone involved. It's better for the kids. It's better for your pocketbook. It's better for everybody if people can just be reasonable and work things out on their own.
Paris Jones, KOCO 5 News.
So you have these local news segments all across the country during the pandemic where like interviewing divorce lawyers. Yo, it's really tough right now. People getting their paperwork all together right now. Like it's crazy. But they didn't give any statistics. They didn't say how the divorce lawyer, of course, is busy. I mean, you're a divorce lawyer. That's your job. You're going to be busy. So I want to click another article that really one of our favorite newspapers in New York City also kind of like made it seem like the world was fucking ending. People were just going to die alone in the streets, broke. Like they think this was going to happen. So I want to share this next one. So this headline.
Somehow I knew you were talking about the New York Post.
Yeah. So it's like divorce rates skyrocket among COVID-19 pandemic. So they try to bring in some facts, but mind you, where the facts come from. Divorce rates have spiked in the U.S. during the coronavirus pandemic as couples have been stuck at home for months. The number of people looking for divorces was 35% higher from March to June compared to 2018, according to new data collected from Legal Templates, a company that provides legal documents. Legal Templates was giving them the data between March to June. And they were saying that, yeah, people are getting divorced a lot within the last thing. And I want to keep in perspective what the scale of the stats is saying from March to June. That's it. So, of course, things are going to look crazy from March to June. Like, people were freaking out. People were, like, running. People were eloping to, like, new relationships. People were either buckling down. So, like, it kind of it just centralized, like, what was going on. It may seem like people were just dying alone in the streets. And I really want to debunk this crazy story about divorces going up. Because the reality is, this is what people don't realize it. Because people are depressed and people are lonely. I don't know, but according to the fucking Census Bureau, the recent one, actually divorce rates have declined in the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's just because the marriage rates have also declined in the last 10
Yeah,
years.
so divorce rates actually were as highest in like in the fucking 1980s and 1970s. That's when divorce rates were like
I wonder
people
what the fuck was happening. There was like, Mikhail Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
in the
And then just tear
1970s and
down all the
80s. I don't know,
marriages.
people maybe because it was like, a woman finally getting able to get credit cards, all kinds of things, and like I guess divorce rates kind of skyrocketed in the 60s. People getting out of those shitty 50, 40s like relationships, probably, those shitty ass relationships that look fantastic from the outside, like a nuclear family, but really dad was like going crazy drunk, whatever was going on. Who knows what's happening in the 70s and 80s.
Some of those situations was the media telling women that, it's so much the grass is greener on the other side. And it was like, hey, I want to be free,
But actually divorce rates actually it is lowest it's ever been. Like actually divorce rates are lower now than they were in the 70s and 80s. So people have been having this huge freak out about marriages being broken up. In reality, marriages are more held together than they were in the 70s and 80s, which are probably even more of a cultural thing happening.
I think the freak out had more to do with adding that to the increase in suicides and attempted suicides and reports of depression. We saw it even in the children with the remote learning situation.
Yeah, but we're focused on right now about the whole idea that marriages are all falling apart everywhere. That the sanctity of marriage is a garbage thing.
The marriage between you and Facebook seems to have fallen apart at least for the next 30 days.
Well, I didn't consent to any marriage for Facebook.
Yeah, so, it was a no contest divorce. You were divorced in absentia.
Oh, but that's a divorce, not a marriage. So I told him I didn't get married in the first place, and I don't remember a marriage for Facebook.
Hey, they thought you said "I do" when you were scrolling with your thumbs, scrolling Facebook.
So I want to share this Washington Post article. They even more solidifies kind of this idea that divorce rates are actually down despite COVID-19. There's not this spectacular divorcing that's happening here.
Probably when you look at the whole Rona and people stop freaking out after June, people probably just kind of learn to live with each other. I'm pretty sure there were a couple of situations where it was super stressed out in the beginning, and then they kind of got more in the groove of being at home.
Yeah, that's true.
And then maybe some of those divorce filings were rescinded,
I mean, it's true. I mean, the pandemic increased stress in the marriages. That's what I mean. It's obvious. If it didn't increase stress in you, then you must have been a sociopath that was giving people bleach and not wearing a mask.
I feel attacked. I feel attacked that you're calling me a sociopath. I feel attacked.
We're giving people bleach.
No, that and I was like, yay, more lockdown. Stay in my house.
No, that's not sociopath. I'm talking about you like out there living your best life and exploiting people of the pandemic. You didn't give a shit about people dying.
So that would be Jeff Bezos. Gotcha.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that ain't me.
No,
that
exactly.
Ain't me.
So this research shows that pretty much the percentage is going down of marriage, and there's a chart here that actually from a conservative website. I'm not sure I want to share it, but
I mean, hey, it may not be, what we believe, but, it'd be good to hear what they ought to say. If only just to laugh at them.
No, but it's actually a resource that's shared by USA Today actually used their stats. So I just wanted to just break this kind of rumor that's happening here about divorce rates skyrocketing somehow. The initial data we found for 5 states, divorce statistics in real time indicate a decline in divorce filings for 2020 with year-to-date filings.
Yeah, it says, wait, don't scroll back up. I want people to see this. The AFS found that 58% of married men and women 18 to 55 said the pandemic has made them appreciate their spouse more, while 51% said their commitment to marriage had deepened.
That wasn't a headline that you saw a lot. I didn't see that headline anywhere in the news. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, so it's actually really crazy.
Yeah.
In my mind, I would think, well, a lot of people had problems with their relationships because they're all out and about. She's out working somewhere, he's out working somewhere. They're two ships passing in the night, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I would think, hey, you guys get to actually spend some time together. Maybe you guys would have a better appreciation for each other. And then you hear all of this about, all of these divorces. You hear about
But the divorces are not happening. It's just like divorce lawyers talking about all the clients walking in the hallways. Like, you ask any divorce lawyer anytime, there's always gonna be divorces with divorce lawyer. It's like ask a funeral director if people are gonna stop dying. I know, it's like what
I mean,
that
but we
kind of
had
journalism is
people
wild to me, huh?
We had people in refrigerator trucks in the parking lot, though. So
Yeah. I mean,
that was definitely too much going on there.
Yeah. So people actually got closer together. People actually deepened their relationships rather than like falling apart. In the States, like we make fun of, like Florida had like a biggest decline, which is funny. So it's just interesting to see, like, you see the stats and you see the news. The news is saying one thing, which is kind of like this cultural war. No one should be with each other anymore. But meanwhile, whatever marriages that are left are actually becoming stronger. That's actually the reality that's happening in this country.
It's pretty funny too, because when you think about it especially from the way the typical 18 to 44-year-old male looks at marriage, they don't really see too many advantages in modern society.
Yeah.
I think that for the men who know that they have a lot to lose by getting married, they're probably being a little bit more picky in the women that they married. So if people are making better decisions with who they choose to marry, it's possible that they have a better chance of staying together longer. So
yeah, I'll pull up this next stat. I mean, pretty much this next stat says, in the wake of the survey conducted in September, about thousands of women, it said that we found that 45% of married women said the pandemic had made them less likely to break up with their partner, versus just 5% who said it had made a breakup more likely. So only 5% said that the pandemic made a breakup more likely. But if you turn the New York Post, like, it's skyrocketing. You about to have your shit outside. It's like, but it's the opposite when you ask women. And it's like opposite when you ask people about what's happening. So it's like interesting that why are we being told these certain narratives?
I believe that I think that it's more profitable for corporations.
Yeah, the divorce lawyer was pretty hyped. He was like, she was giving free legal advice on the news channel because she's going to make up for that money. So
right, and but also from a corporate standpoint, most of the consumer dollars are spent by women, and so if you have men and women together, there's less consumption in the market. But if you separate the sexes and you have them living in separate places,
double the
separate
income.
cars, separate grocery trips,
double the profit.
There's more profit for the corporations and the companies.
Yeah.
So it's really crazy. The first video up on my channel, not my channel, but on my new show, we just uploaded a video talking about the baby bust, and again, the declining birth rates. In the near term, it equals more dollars for for-profit organizations.
But
in the long term,
children,
it's going to be a problem for the economy.
Yeah, it's going to be a fucking disaster in the economy. I mean, and it's going to be a disaster in ways we can't comprehend. Because
no, we can comprehend it. Look at Japan.
No.
Do you see how large their population of people over the age of 60, and they don't have younger employable people to take up the slack in society, so that those older people can have a somewhat decent existence to the end of life.
But Japan doesn't have wasn't built on slavery and mass incarceration. I feel like this the cultural nuances, because I understand Japan, but also China, for instance. I want to give an example of China. China had the one-child policy. Now they have men
with no wife prospects.
Now they have rich Chinese men kidnapping women For
Hey,
like,
yo.
I mean, yeah, it's a crazy story. They go on to like other South Asian countries and taking women back to China. Because China government was killing babies, doing all kinds of crazy stuff for like 50 years, and now they have this cultural problem. They have a future problem is going to happen, and this is why China's acting a certain way. So I can imagine in the United States when we start to see this problem actually become a problem, because right now we're all kind of young and happy, but when we get old and don't have,
but then
like,
you got to look on the horizon.
Yeah, when you're old and don't have anyone like to answer your phone calls to talk about the newspaper you read today or whatever in the future, like it's gonna be sad for a lot of people.
So who's going to pave the roads and take out the garbage if there are less able-bodied people between the ages of 18 and 44 to do those jobs?
And this is why they're training the robots. So
yeah, but it's funny. We mentioned that mentioned that on TSP, but it's like, yeah, you could say that you could pick up the production with automation.
Yeah,
but who's going to be there to earn the money to keep the economy going? Production probably won't be that much of a problem, but if there's nobody to participate in your economy, then it doesn't matter how many machines you have.
that's why Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk are gonna die on Mars, because they know that.
Nah, I think they're going to die on the way to Mars.
Yes, fuck that. With Bill Gates, they're all single now, so.
And the women are going to stay back here rich as fuck. Next of kin. Living it up.
So hopefully, please don't.
Ja Rule style. Everybody that be living it up, say. There's going to be all the billionaire ex-wives club.
Yeah, oh yeah. So please don't break up your marriage. We gave you some facts. Divorce is not,
unless you're Bill Gates, you can afford it.
So this is Black Power Magic Hour on Twitter, on not on Facebook. This is a total error right here.
Revolting.
So
against the man.
We're on Twitter and Twitch,
the Zucker man,
which is owned by other white people, other rich white guys.
When is he getting a divorce? Maybe he is getting a divorce, which is why everybody's getting banned.
I was sliding the DM and make that divorce happen or some shit.
Oh shit, man! Hey,
someone work on that divorce.
Hey, man, if you become like a sugar baby to the Zucks, soon to be ex-wife, don't forget about your old boy Dr. Evil, son.
Is there like really like a billionaire home wrecker out there? That's a fascinating.
Yeah, it's
story.
the billionaires themselves.
Yeah, that's people in power.
They're not letting us thousandaires
power and
break
love.
shit up.
People in love.